Hi, I'm Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek, where we discuss theology and apologetics from a charismatic perspective. Well, Joel Osteen really riled up the Twitter sphere a couple of weeks ago with this tweet. It's the simple things in life that bring us the most joy. You may not have a lot of resources, but if you have family, you're blessed. If you have your health, you're blessed. If you can look up at the stars at night, you're blessed. So this prompted responses like this from the blind, not by sight guy.
He doesn't get joy out of life from the simple things. He gets joy out of life from these multiple mansions that he has, from his net worth of over $100 million. He's trying to convince you that he is somehow on your level of just the common man. You know, you don't have a couple mansions like Joel. Some of you may live in a studio bedroom apartment or are struggling to make ends meet every single day, but you're continuing to give to Joel and Lakewood Church and all these other prosperity gospel preachers.
Okay, first of all, he doesn't know what Joel's net worth is. Estimates range from $50 to $100 million, but unless you have his financial records, you're just guessing. Secondly, people don't send Joel money. As I've repeatedly pointed out, he hasn't taken a salary from Lakewood since 2005. His first book, Your Best Life Now, was published in 2004 and quickly became a bestseller and sold out, making Joel a multimillionaire. He was asked to write a second book, and it became obvious that his future income would be as an author. So he didn't need a salary anymore. And third, Joel wasn't rich until he was in his 40s. He was the video engineer at his father's church for 17 years, and you don't get rich as a video engineer. The average salary is between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. But that's what Joel felt that God wanted him to do, so he was content with that. To supplement their income, Joel and his wife Victoria flipped houses. The house they were living in when Joel became the pastor cost them $350,000, and they worked their way up to that. In his book, Your Best Life Now, he said that he used to drive by expensive houses in Houston and wonder, what would it be like to live in a house like that? I guess I'll never know. As a kid, he went fishing with his dad and accompanied him on mission trips to India or the Philippines. On his first date with Victoria, they went to a basketball game. In his free time, he would shoot hoops with his friends from high school. So yes, Joel knows what it's like to lack resources and enjoy the simple things in life. Here's what they were saying at Valuetainment.
When those floods and that big storm came into Houston, he wouldn't even let Red Cross and relief agencies use their church.
Wow.
He had to be humiliated on TV and then come to the microphone and said, oh, you misunderstood. We were always going to let you hear. Wrong. They were on the record and he was embarrassed publicly. It's that guy.
Yeah, you trust about anything the way that he talks.
You know what I'm talking about?
And he blinks. Yeah, it was August 2017 when he said that the church said that it was inaccessible due to flooding. However, the photos came out and the church was fine.
How do people fall for this stuff? You know, we're in the age that people crave and yearn authenticity. You know, they say like this is the reason that podcasters or people on social media have broken through, whether it's PBD, whether it's Rogan, whether it's Russell Brand. It's just because they keep it real. You know, listen, I'm worth $100 million. I got a $10 million house, $50 million net worth, $100 million net worth, whatever it's worth. And now you guys might be poor, but do me a favor, just pass around the tray and donate what you can. How are people falling for this?
Most pastors who are great communicators from stage can easily, John Maxwell used to be a what? He used to be a pastor. John Maxwell used to be a pastor. He stepped away from the church and he became a motivational speaker and a leadership coach. And what is John Maxwell's net worth right now? Can you pull up John Maxwell's net worth? Type in John Maxwell's net worth. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be a decent net worth. Okay, $10 million. Guess what? This guy's written the best leadership books. Every one of the books he writes, scripture's in it. He was a pastor of a church, I think 2,000 members, give or take. He chose to leave the church and go be a motivational speaker. Joel Osteen would gain so much credibility if he left the church and said, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. And then nobody would care if he made $200 million. Yeah. The problem is the fact that you're a pastor.
Yeah.
These guys are just regurgitating a lot of anti-Joel, anti-televangelist talking points. First, as I pointed out in my video, The Truth About Joel Osteen, the church building had a history of flooding when it was the Compact Center. They had to install floodgates to prevent future flooding, and with 3 feet of rain in 3 days, the floodgates were near capacity. So they had to wait and make sure that the building was safe before opening it. Add to that the fact that the main road to the church, Highway 59, was essentially a river, so it was difficult for church staff to even get to the building. But beyond that, the city of Houston never requested that Lakewood act as a shelter. They designated Lakewood as a distribution center and instructed them to direct flood victims to the convention center downtown because it was better equipped for that. The only thing Joel and Lakewood did wrong during Hurricane Harvey was that they didn't handle the public relations as good as they could have, which is understandable because PR isn't your top priority during a disaster. Valuetainment pride themselves in not buying into the lies of the mainstream media, and yet here they are doing exactly that in regards to Joel Osteen. But none of this has anything to do with the tweet in question. Patrick Bet David is worth more than Joel Osteen, and he was younger than Joel when he became a millionaire. But somehow, I imagine that he still considers himself a down-to-earth guy who can enjoy the simple things in life. Also, these guys seem to be under the impression that Joel Osteen is sending these tweets out himself. But as I've shown in the past, he has a web team that takes quotes from his messages and tweets those out. I doubt that Joel even knows from day to day what's happening with his social media accounts. So no, Joel isn't a conventional pastor, but most megachurch pastors don't marry people, bury people, counsel people, or do visitation. They have associate pastors to handle those things. Your job as a megachurch pastor is to give a great message for usually 2 or 3 services, and to oversee the business affairs of the church, and to hear from God about the direction you should take the church. That's the kind of thing that Joel Osteen does at Lakewood. He earns his money as an author, so in addition to running the church, he's constantly working on a new book. He puts one out every year or 2, so he's not a regular pastor, but what he offers as the pastor of Lakewood is extremely rare. It took him decades of watching and working with his father and years of experience as the pastor to learn and develop in these areas. It's just not realistic to expect a guy who runs a church of 45,000 to function like a normal pastor. Thanks for watching. Be blessed.